The Iron Guardian moved through space like a metal giant walking on invisible ground. Captain Jinwoo Kim sat in the main control seat, watching the stars through the huge window. The massive robot was 200 meters tall and built for one job: mining asteroids in the deep darkness of space. Another boring day in paradise, said Jinwoo with a smile. His crew called him Tommy, a nickname from his academy days. He was 32 years old with short black hair and always seemed to find something funny in every situation. Captain, we are approaching asteroid Zeta Prime 7, reported Hyuna Cho from her communication station. She was the youngest crew member at 25, with bright eyes that never missed anything. The mineral scans show good deposits of rare metals. Tommy nodded and looked at his pilot. Take us in, Seojin, nice and steady. Seojin Han was the best mech pilot in the outer colonies. His hands moved over the controls like he was playing music. The Iron Guardian responded smoothly, its giant arms reaching toward the spinning rock in space. Deploying mining laser, announced Dong-Yun Lee from the engineering station. He was a thin man who could fix anything that broke. The robot's chest opened to reveal a powerful cutting beam that could slice through solid rock. Medical bay is ready for any emergencies, called Minji Park from the lower deck. She was the ship's doctor and the most careful person on the crew. Her job was to keep everyone healthy during the long months in space. Tactical systems are green, added Young-Ho Nam, the security officer. He was a serious man who always expected trouble, even during simple mining jobs. Tommy leaned back in his chair. Perfect team, perfect robot, perfect asteroid. This is going to be our easiest job yet. The Iron Guardian began cutting into the asteroid with its laser. Chunks of rock and metal floated away into space. The mining arms collected the valuable pieces and stored them in the cargo bay. Everything was going according to plan. 2 hours into the mining operation, something changed. Captain, Hyuna said with confusion in her voice. I am picking up a strange energy reading from inside the asteroid. What kind of reading? Tommy asked, sitting up straighter. It is not metal or crystal. It looks more like life signs. Dong-Yun checked his instruments. That cannot be right. This asteroid has been dead for millions of years. Let me scan deeper, Minji said, running her medical sensors. After a moment, her eyes went wide. Hyuna is correct. There is something alive inside that rock. Tommy felt his stomach tighten. Finding life on a dead asteroid was not supposed to happen. Can you tell what it is? Small, very small. And whatever it is, it needs help soon. Change of plans, Tommy announced to his crew. We go in and investigate. Seojin, can you make the Guardian dig more carefully? I can try, Captain. But the robot was not built for delicate work. Despite its size, the Iron Guardian began working with surprising gentleness. Seojin's skilled hands guided the massive arms to carefully remove layers of rock. The mining laser operated at minimum power, barely warm enough to crack the stone. After another hour of careful digging, they found it. There, Minji pointed at the main screen. Do you see that reflection? Deep in a cave inside the asteroid was something that looked like a crystal egg. It was about the size of a human head and glowed with a soft blue light. That is definitely not natural, Young-Ho observed, his hand moving to his weapon controls. Wait, Tommy said. If there is something alive in there, we do not want to hurt it. Minji, what are your medical scanners telling you? The life signs are weak but stable. Whatever is inside that crystal shell is very young and very sick. It needs care soon or it will die. Tommy made his decision quickly. We bring it aboard. Dong-Yun, can you rig up a containment field in the cargo bay? Give me 20 minutes, Captain. Hyuna, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we have found something unusual and need xenobiology experts. Already on it, Captain. As the crew prepared to bring the crystal pod aboard, Tommy stared at it on the screen. The blue light was beautiful but somehow sad. Something about it reminded him of a baby bird fallen from its nest. Captain, Young-Ho said quietly. We do not know what that thing is. It could be dangerous. It could be, Tommy agreed. But look at it, Young-Ho. Does it look dangerous to you? The crystal pod continued to glow softly in the darkness of the asteroid cave. The light seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. "It looks scared," Minji said softly. Using the Iron Guardian's gentlest tools, they carefully extracted the pod from the asteroid. The crystal was warm to the touch and lighter than expected. As soon as it was free from the rock, the blue glow became brighter. "Bringing it to Cargo Bay 2, Dongyun announced. "Containment field is ready." The pod was placed in a secure area, surrounded by energy barriers. The crew gathered around to examine their discovery more closely. "It is definitely artificial," Dongyun determined after running his scans, "but the technology is not human." "The life form inside is carbon-based, like us," Minji added, "but the genetic structure is completely alien." "Any signs of intelligence?" Tommy asked. "Hard to say. The brain patterns are too faint to read clearly." As they watched, hair-thin cracks appeared on the surface of the crystal pod. The blue light began to flicker. "It is hatching," Minji whispered. The cracks spread quickly. Across the smooth surface, pieces of crystal fell away to reveal something extraordinary. Inside was a small creature that looked like no animal from Earth. It had soft fur that changed color from blue to silver to gold as they watched. 6 delicate legs ending in tiny paws. Large eyes that seemed to hold starlight. It was no bigger than a house cat but moved with impossible grace. The creature looked around the cargo bay with curiosity rather than fear. When its eyes found the humans watching through the containment field, it made a sound like wind chimes singing. "Perfect," Tommy said with a grin spreading across his face. "Perfect plan, no risks. We adopt the little guy, study it, and become the first humans to make friends with aliens. What could possibly go wrong?" Young-ho shook his head. "Captain, every time you say that, something goes very wrong." But Tommy was already planning their next move, watching the small alien creature with wonder and excitement. The Iron Guardian drifted through space, carrying its crew and their unexpected new passenger toward whatever adventure waited among the stars. 3 days had passed since the crew found their small alien passenger. The cargo bay had been transformed into something that looked more like a nature park than a storage room. Minji had worked day and night to create the perfect environment for their new friend. "Temperature is stable at 22 degrees, she reported to Tommy as they watched the creature through the observation window. "Humidity is perfect and the air mixture seems to agree with its biology." The alien had grown stronger each day. It moved with quick, playful jumps around its new home. Its fur continued to change colors, shifting from deep blue when it was calm to bright gold when it was excited. "Have you decided on a name yet?" Donghyun asked, joining them at the window. "The crew voted yesterday," Tommy smiled. "We are calling him Cosmic." Cosmic seemed to understand they were talking about him. He looked up at the humans and made his wind chime sound, which they had learned meant happiness. "Look at that," Hyuna said from her communication station. "Every time Cosmic makes that sound, our instruments pick up energy patterns. I think he is trying to talk to us." "Can you decode the patterns?" Tommy asked. "I am trying. The signals are complex, but they seem to have meaning. Yesterday, when he was hungry, the patterns were different than when he was sleepy." Seojin walked into the observation area, his face showing excitement. "Captain, you need to see what happened during my test flight this morning." "Problems with the Guardian?" Tommy asked with concern. "The opposite. The Guardian is working better than ever." "Watch this." Seojin activated a recording of the morning's flight test. On the screen, they watched the Iron Guardian moving through space with impossible smoothness. The massive robot dodged floating debris with the grace of a dancer. Its arms moved with precision that should not have been possible for such a large machine. "How did you do that?" Dongyun asked, amazed. "Those movements are beyond the Guardian's programming." "That is just it," Seojin explained. "I did not do it. I started the test flight normally, but then the Guardian began responding to my thoughts. Before I even touched the controls, it was like the robot could read my mind." "Impossible," Young-ho said from his security station. "Machines cannot read thoughts." "Then explain this," Seojin said, starting another recording. This time they watched as the Iron Guardian performed a complex mining operation. The robot's arms moved in perfect coordination, accomplishing in minutes what usually took hours. Every movement was exact and efficient. "When did this start?" Tommy asked. "The day after we brought Cosmic aboard." All eyes turned to the small alien in the cargo bay. Cosmic was sitting very still, his fur glowing with soft silver light. He seemed to be concentrating on something. "You think he is connected to our system somehow?" Minji asked. Before anyone could answer, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. "Captain," Young-ho called out urgently. "Long-range sensors are detecting multiple ships approaching our position." Tommy moved quickly to the main command station. "How many ships?" "5. No, wait. 7 ships. They are big, Captain. Much bigger than us. Are they human ships?" "Negative. The design is unknown. Never seen anything like them before." Tommy felt his stomach drop. Their perfect plan with no risks was about to get very complicated. "Distance?" he asked. 2 hours out and closing fast. "Can we run?" Seojin checked his navigation systems. "The Guardian is fast for a mining robot, but those ships look built for speed. They will catch us." "What do they want?" Hyuna asked, working frantically at her communication station. "They are sending a signal," she announced. "It is not human language, but the computer is trying to translate." The main screen flickered, then showed strange symbols that slowly changed to English words. The message was short and cold. "Return stolen property. Surrender the Lumari. Resistance will result in destruction." "Lumari," Tommy repeated. "What is a Lumari?" In the cargo bay, Cosmic had gone completely still. His fur had turned dark purple, a color they had never seen before. The wind chime sounds he made now were low and sad. "I think we just learned what Cosmic's people are called," Minji said quietly. "And someone thinks we stole him," Donghyun added. Tommy looked at his crew. They were miners, not soldiers. The Iron Guardian was built to break rocks, not fight battles. But as he watched Cosmic in the cargo bay, looking small and scared, he made his decision. "Hyuna, send a response. Tell them we found Cosmic alone, on a dead asteroid. We rescued him and we are taking care of him. We did not steal anything. Sending message now, Captain." They waited 10 minutes for a reply. When it came, the words made Tommy's blood run cold. "Lumari are property of the Corvan Empire. Return immediately or be destroyed. You have 1 hour." "Property?" Minji said angrily. "He is not property. He is a living being." "Try to explain that to them," Young-ho said grimly, checking his weapon systems. "Captain, the Guardian has mining lasers and some basic defensive systems, but we are not equipped for battle against 7 warships." Tommy looked at Cosmic again. The small alien was now pressing against the containment field, trying to get closer to the observation window. His fur was flashing between colors quickly and his wind chime sounds were urgent. "He is trying to tell us something," Hyuna realized. "The energy patterns are stronger than ever." "What is he saying?" "I am not sure, but I think he is warning us. The patterns suggest danger and family. No, that is not right. Partnership. He is thinking about partnership." Suddenly the Iron Guardian shuddered, but it was not from any external force. The massive robot was moving on its own, turning to face the approaching alien ships. "Captain," Seojin said with amazement in his voice, "I am not controlling the Guardian, but it is responding to the threat. Somehow it knows we are in danger." Tommy looked from Cosmic to his crew to the approaching enemy ships. His no-risks plan had put them all in terrible danger. But as he watched the Iron Guardian prepare for battle with movements more graceful than any machine should possess, he began to think they might have a chance after all. "All stations prepare for combat," he ordered. "And someone figure out how to communicate with Cosmic. I have a feeling we are going to need all the help we can get." The Corvan ships emerged from hyperspace like dark angels of death. Each vessel was 3 times larger than the Iron Guardian, with sharp edges and weapon ports that glowed with threatening red light. They moved in perfect formation, surrounding the human mining robot like hunters circling wounded prey. "Captain," Young-ho reported from his tactical station. I count 42 weapon systems across all 7 ships. We have 2 mining lasers and basic shields. Tommy stared at the main screen where the enemy fleet was displayed. Each Corvan ship looked like it was built for one purpose: destruction. Their hulls were black metal covered in spikes and armor plating. This is not going to be fair, Dong-yun muttered, checking the Guardian systems. Fair fights are for sports, Tommy replied, trying to sound more confident than he felt. We have something they do not expect. What is that? Seojin asked. We are human. We do not give up. A new message came through the communication system. This time, instead of text, a hologram appeared on the bridge. The alien that materialized was tall and reptilian, with dark scales and yellow eyes that held no mercy. I am Captain Vexitar, of the Corvan Imperial Fleet, the creature said in perfect English. You have one of our Lumari slaves aboard your primitive vessel. Return it immediately. He is not a slave, Tommy said, standing up to face the hologram. His name is Cosmic, and we rescued him. He is under our protection now. The Corvan captain laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Humans. We have heard of your species, young and foolish. The Lumari are valuable assets. This one belongs to the Empire. Everything that lives belongs to itself, Minji said angrily from her medical station. Your philosophical discussions bore me, Vextar replied. Surrender the Lumari and we will allow you to leave with your lives. In the cargo bay, Cosmic was moving frantically around his containment area. His fur was flashing bright red, a color that meant extreme danger. The wind chime sounds he was making were so urgent they could be heard throughout the ship. Captain, Huna called out. Cosmic is sending out some kind of signal. It is directed at the Guardian's main computer. As she spoke, the Iron Guardian began to change. The massive robot's movements became smoother, more alive. Its head turned to track the Corvan ships with intelligence that seemed almost organic. Seojin, Tommy ordered. Take us into the asteroid field. Use the rocks for cover. Already on it, Captain. But as Seojin reached for the controls, the Iron Guardian was already moving. The giant robot seemed to anticipate every command before it was given. How is it doing that? Dong-yun asked in amazement. Cosmic, Minji realized. He is connected to our system somehow. He is helping the Guardian think. The Corvan ships opened fire without warning. Beams of red energy lanced through space, aimed at the Iron Guardian's vital systems. But the mining robot moved like nothing they had ever seen. It twisted between the asteroid rocks with impossible grace, dodging attacks that should have been undodgeable. Impossible, they heard Vextar snarl over the communication channel. No mining vessel can move like that. This one can, Tommy said with a grin. Fire all weapons. The Iron Guardian's mining lasers blazed to life. The beams were not designed for combat, but in the hands of a machine that could predict enemy movements, they became devastating weapons. One Corvan ship lost its main engine, another had its weapon systems disabled, but there were still 5 undamaged enemy ships, and the Guardian's shields were not built for prolonged battle. Shield. Power at 60%, Young-ho reported as more enemy fire struck their defenses. We need to even the odds, Tommy decided. Dong-yun, what mining equipment do we have that might work as weapons? Well, we have shaped charges for breaking apart large asteroids, and the magnetic collection system could grab and throw smaller rocks. Perfect. Start throwing rocks at them. Captain, Seojin said with concern, the Guardian is not designed for this kind of combat. The stress on the systems is enormous. In response to his words, Cosmic's wind chime sounds became deeper, more resonant. Somehow the small alien was pouring strength into the massive robot. The Iron Guardian's movements became even more precise, more deadly. Look at that, Hyuna whispered, pointing at her instruments. The Guardian's efficiency ratings are off the charts. It is performing at twice its normal capacity. The battle moved deeper into the asteroid field. The Iron Guardian used the floating rocks like a 3-dimensional maze, appearing and disappearing behind cover. Each time it emerged, the mining lasers found their targets. One by one, the Corvan ships began to show damage. But the enemy was learning too. Vexitar's voice echoed through space. Surround it. Use the gravity mines. Trap the humans between the asteroids. Dark spheres shot out from the Corvin ships, each one creating a powerful gravitational field. The asteroids began to move, pulled into new patterns that would crush anything caught between them. They are trying to box us in, Seojin reported, fighting to control the Guardian as gravitational forces tugged at the massive robot. Then we go through them, instead of around them, Tommy decided. Maximum power to all systems. Captain, that will overload our reactors, Dongyun warned. Trust Cosmic. He will not let us down. As if responding to Tommy's faith, the small alien's fur blazed with brilliant white light. The Iron Guardian surged forward with power that defied all engineering logic. It crashed through the gravitational trap like it was made of paper, emerging on the other side with weapons blazing. 2 more Corvin ships took critical damage, but now the Guardian systems were pushed beyond their limits. Warning lights flashed on every control panel. Reactor temperature critical, Dongyun announced. We have maybe 5 minutes before total system failure. Shield power at 20%, Young-ho added. Main engines overheating, Seojin reported. Through it all, Cosmic continued to sing his wind chime song, pouring his small alien strength into their massive machine. His fur had turned pale, and his movements were becoming weaker. He is exhausting himself, Minji said with worry. The psychic connection is draining his life force. Tommy looked at the 3 remaining Corvin ships. They were damaged, but still deadly. The Iron Guardian was falling apart around them. Their alien friend was dying to save them. All right, he said grimly. Time for a truly terrible idea. Seojin, can you ram that command ship? With pleasure, Captain. Vextar, Tommy called out on the communication channel. You want our Lumari friend? Come and take him. The Iron Guardian turned toward the largest Corvin ship and began to accelerate. Behind them, Cosmic's light was fading, but his song continued, giving their dying robot the strength for one last charge into battle. The Iron Guardian raced toward the Corvin command ship like a metal comet, its damaged systems screaming warnings that everyone ignored. But Tommy was not planning a simple ramming attack. Humans did not survive in space by being simple. Abort the charge, he ordered suddenly. Seojin, dive under their ship at the last second. What? Seojin asked, confused. Trust me. Dongyun, prepare to dump our entire supply of mining charges. Set them for maximum dispersal. Understanding dawned on the engineer's face. You want to mine their ship. Exactly. We cannot fight them ship to ship, so we fight them human style. The Iron Guardian pulled up just as the Corvin command ship's weapons locked on. Instead of crashing into the enemy vessel, the mining robot dove beneath it. As it passed under the alien ship's hull, every mining charge in their inventory shot out like deadly seeds. The Corvin shields were designed to stop energy weapons and projectiles coming from the front or sides. They were not built to handle explosives attached directly to the bottom of their ship. The mining charges detonated in sequence, each explosion creating a chain reaction. The command ship's belly split open, venting atmosphere and debris into space. Direct hit, Young-ho reported with satisfaction. Their main reactor is exposed. 1 mining laser, full power, Tommy ordered, the Iron Guardians remaining functional. Laser fired a concentrated beam into the heart of the enemy ship. The Corvin command vessel exploded in a burst of blue flame, taking Captain Vextar with it. But there were still 2 enemy ships left, and both were now firing everything they had at the humans. Shield failure in 30 seconds, Young-ho announced, as red energy beams hammered their defenses. Hyuna, Tommy called out. Can you hack into their communication systems? Maybe. Why? I want to have a little chat with their crews. While Hyuna worked at her station, Tommy watched Cosmic through the cargo bay monitors. The small alien was barely moving now, his fur dim and colorless. But his wind chime song continued, weaker, but determined. Got it, Hyuna announced. I am into their communication network. Patch me through to both ships. Tommy's voice echoed across the Corvin fleet. Attention alien crews. This is Captain Jinwoo Kim of the Iron Guardian. Your leader is dead. Your command ship is destroyed. But I am a reasonable human, so I will make you a deal. What kind of deal? Came a suspicious reply from one of the ships. Leave now and we will not destroy you too. Stay and fight, and you will end up like your captain. You are damaged, the alien voice replied. Your weapons are failing, your shields are down. What makes you think you can destroy us? Tommy smiled. Because you do not understand humans yet. We do not just fight with weapons. We fight with our minds. Hyuna, show them. The communication officer had been busy while Tommy talked. She had not just hacked into their communication system, she had planted a virus in their computer networks. Both Corvin ships suddenly began spinning out of control. Their weapons stopped firing. Their engines sputtered and died. You see? Tommy continued conversationally. While you were listening, to me talk, my communication officer was taking control of your ships. Humans learn fast, we adapt, and we cheat whenever possible. How? The alien voice demanded. Your translator systems work both ways. Every time you decoded our language, you gave us access to your computers. Basic human trick number 1. Use your enemy's strength against them. One of the spinning Corvin ships managed to restart its engines and began limping away from the battle. The other was not so lucky. Its reactor overloaded and the ship exploded in a brilliant flash. Smart choice, Tommy told the retreating vessel. Go home and tell your empire that humans do not give up their friends. As the last Corvin ship disappeared into hyperspace, the Iron Guardian finally gave up the fight. Systems that had been pushed far beyond their limits began shutting down one by one. The massive robot drifted to a stop among the asteroids, silent and still. Is everyone alive? Tommy asked, looking around the damaged bridge. All systems failing, Dongyun reported. We have maybe an hour of life support left. Emergency beacon is functioning, Hyuna added, but the nearest human ship is 6 days away. What about Cosmic? Minji asked, already heading for the cargo bay. They found their small alien friend collapsed in his containment area, breathing but barely conscious. His fur had turned completely white, and his wind chime sounds were so faint they could hardly be heard. He used too much energy, Minji determined after scanning him with her medical equipment. The psychic connection with our systems drained him almost to death. Can you help him? Tommy asked. I am trying, but I do not understand his biology well enough. He needs his own people. As if responding to her words, new contacts appeared on their long-range sensors. But these ships were different. They moved like living things, flowing through space instead of flying through it. Their hulls seemed to be made of some organic material that shifted and changed as they watched. More aliens, Young-ho said tiredly. I hope they are friendly. The new ships approached slowly, making no aggressive moves. When they were close enough, a gentle voice spoke through the communication system. It sounded like music. Greetings, brave humans. We are the Lumari Council. We have been searching for our lost child. Your lost child? Tommy asked. The young one you call Cosmic. We felt his distress through the psychic network that connects all our people. We came as quickly as we could. One of the organic ships extended a tube that connected to the Iron Guardian's airlock. 3 Lumari adults floated through the connection. They looked like larger versions of Cosmic, with the same color-changing fur and large eyes full of starlight. You risked your lives to protect our child, the lead Lumari said, her fur glowing with warm golden light. Such kindness is rare among the younger species. He is special, Tommy replied simply. Worth protecting. The Lumari medic examined Cosmic with gentle care. He will recover, but it will take time. The bond he formed with your machine was unprecedented. Never before has a Lumari connected so deeply with artificial intelligence. He saved us all, Minji explained. Without his help, we could never have defeated the Corvins. The Corvins have hunted our people across the galaxy, another Lumari said sadly. They want to use our abilities to control their war machines, but our gifts only work with willing partners. That is why they steal our children, hoping to break their spirits. Well, they picked the wrong child this time, Tommy said, looking at Cosmic with pride. And they definitely picked the wrong humans to mess with. The lead Lumari's fur shifted to bright blue, which they had learned meant happiness. Indeed they did. You have shown that some species can be trusted with great responsibility. Perhaps it is time for our peoples to know each other better. 2 weeks had passed since the Lumari Council ships arrived to help repair the Iron Guardian. The massive mining robot was stronger than ever, its systems upgraded with Lumari biotechnology that made human engineering work in harmony with alien psychic abilities. Cosmic had recovered from his exhaustion and was now bonded permanently with the Guardian's computer systems. He spent his time learning human language and teaching the crew about Lumari culture. His fur had returned to its normal shifting colors, though he now had silver streaks that marked him as one who had seen battle. The repairs are complete, announced Dongyun, who had worked alongside Lumari engineers to rebuild their ship. The Guardian is now part organic, part machine. It should respond even better to Cosmic's abilities. Tommy stood on the observation deck, watching the Lumari ships prepare to leave. Their leader, Elder Sunara, had explained that her people needed to return to their hidden colonies. The galaxy was still dangerous for the Lumari, especially with the Corvan Empire hunting them. Captain, Huna called out urgently from her station. I am picking up massive energy signatures at the edge of our sensor range. More Corvans? Tommy asked, moving quickly to the main command station. Worse. Much worse. Her face was pale with fear. It is an entire Corvan battle fleet. I count 50 ships, including 3 dreadnoughts. The main screen lit up with contacts. The Corvan Empire had sent everything they had to destroy the humans who had embarrassed them and to recapture their property. They must have followed the survivor from our last battle, Young-Ho realized grimly. This time they are not taking chances. Elder Sunara appeared on the communication screen, her fur dark with worry. The fleet is too large. My people cannot fight so many ships. We must flee. No, Tommy said firmly. Running will just delay the problem. They will keep hunting Cosmic and your people forever. It ends here. You cannot defeat 50 warships with one mining robot, Sunara protested. Maybe not, but we can try something they will never expect. Tommy turned to his crew. Remember what we learned about Lumari abilities? They can bond with any technology, not just our computers. What are you thinking? Seojin asked. The entire asteroid field. What if Cosmic could connect with every piece of rock and metal in the system? Turn the whole area into one giant weapon? Minji looked shocked. Tommy, that would require more psychic energy than any Lumari has ever attempted. It could kill him. It will kill all of us if we do nothing, Tommy replied. He turned to Cosmic, who was listening from his position near the computer terminals. What do you think, little friend? Can you do it? Cosmic's fur flashed through several colors. As he considered the question, finally he made his wind chime sound that meant determination and nodded. The risk is enormous, Elder Sunara warned. If he fails, the psychic backlash could destroy his mind. If we do nothing, the Corvans will destroy everything anyway, Tommy pointed out. At least this way we go down fighting. The Corvan fleet was now 1 hour away and closing fast. Tommy made his decision. All Lumari ships retreat to minimum safe distance. We are going to see just how creative humans can get. And how brave Lumari can be, Cosmic added in his musical voice, speaking human words for the first time. The Iron Guardian moved to the center of the asteroid field. Cosmic took his position at the main computer interface, his small hands touching the biomechanical controls that connected him to every system on the ship. Beginning psychic expansion, Cosmic announced, his fur beginning to glow. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, the asteroids around them began to move. Not randomly, but with purpose. Large rocks drifted into new positions. Smaller chunks of metal and ice aligned themselves in complex patterns. He is building a 3-dimensional maze, Seojin observed with amazement. More than that, Dongyun corrected. He is turning every asteroid into a guided missile. The Corvin fleet emerged from hyperspace in their standard attack formation, expecting to face one damaged mining robot. Instead, they found themselves surrounded by thousands of asteroids that moved with intelligent purpose. "Fire all weapons," came the command from the Corvin admiral. "Destroy everything." Red energy beams lanced out from the alien warships, targeting the Iron Guardian. But the mining robot was no longer where their sensors indicated. Cosmic had created holographic doubles using ice crystals and metal fragments, confusing the enemy targeting systems. When the real Guardian appeared from behind a large asteroid, its mining lasers had been modified with Lumari biotechnology. The beams were no longer simple cutting tools. They were psychically guided weapons that curved around obstacles and struck targets with perfect accuracy. 3 Corvin ships exploded in the first exchange of fire. "Impossible," the enemy admiral snarled over the communication channel. "No mining. Vessel can fight like this." "This one can," Tommy replied, "because it has a good friend helping it think." The battle became a deadly game of 3-dimensional chess played with starships and asteroids. Cosmic guided chunks of rock like bullets, sending them racing toward enemy vessels at devastating speeds. The Corvins found themselves fighting not just one ship, but an entire star system that had turned against them. But the effort was draining Cosmic terribly. His fur was becoming pale again, and his wind chime sounds were growing weaker. "Cosmic, can you hold on?" Tommy asked. "For friends?" "Yes," the small alien replied, his voice fading. A Corvin dreadnought broke through the asteroid defenses and fired its main weapon directly at the Iron Guardian. The massive energy beam should have destroyed the mining robot instantly. Instead, Cosmic redirected a metallic asteroid into its path. The beam struck the metal and reflected back at the attacking ship, destroying it with its own weapon. 17. "Enemy ships down," Young-Ho reported. "But our friend is exhausting himself." "I know," Tommy said grimly, "but we are winning. For the first time in this fight, we are actually winning." The Corvin admiral made a desperate decision. All remaining ships would ram the Iron Guardian simultaneously. Even if they died in the attack, they would complete their mission. 33. Warships charged toward the Guardian from all directions. There was no way to dodge them all and no way to destroy them all before they arrived. "This is it," Tommy announced to his crew. "It has been an honor serving with all of you." But Cosmic was not finished. With the last of his strength, he reached out through his psychic connection and touched something new. Not asteroids or metal fragments, but the wreckage of destroyed Corvin ships. The alien technology responded to his call. Broken Corvin vessels rose from the asteroid field like metal. Zombies, their weapons still functional even though their crews were dead. Under Cosmic's control, they turned on their former comrades. The battle became a nightmare for the surviving Corvins. They were being attacked by their own ships, controlled by an alien child who refused to give up. One by one, the remaining vessels were destroyed by weapons they recognized, fired by ships that should have been their allies. When the fighting finally ended, only debris remained of the Corvin fleet. The Iron Guardian drifted silent among the asteroids, its systems powered down and its crew unconscious from exhaustion. In the cargo bay, Cosmic lay motionless, his fur completely white and his breathing barely detectable. He had given everything to protect his human friends. "He is alive," Minji announced after scanning him, "but just barely. He needs immediate medical attention from his own people." The Lumari ships returned quickly, their medical teams working to save the small hero, who had accomplished the impossible. Elder Sunara stood over Cosmic's still form, her fur glowing with deep sadness. "He may live," she said quietly, "but he will never be the same. What he did today, it should have killed him. Somehow his bond with your people gave him the strength to survive what no Lumari has ever attempted." Tommy knelt beside their small friend, gently stroking the colorless fur. "You did it, Cosmic. You saved us all." For just a moment, Cosmic's fur flickered with a tiny spark of gold, and his eyes opened to look at Tommy. His wind chime voice was barely a whisper, but his words were clear. "Friends, worth Everything. Then, he closed his eyes and slept, trusting the humans he had risked his life to save to protect him while he healed. 3 months later, Tommy stood in the observation dome of New Haven Station, watching something that would have been impossible to imagine when they first found Cosmic. The massive space station floated in orbit around a beautiful blue-green planet that had become the first joint human Lumari colony. The station itself was a marvel of combined engineering. Human steel and electronics worked together with Lumari biotechnology to create something neither species could have built alone. Ships from both civilizations docked at its ports, and the corridors buzzed with activity as humans and Lumari worked side by side. "Hard to believe it all started with one small alien kitten," said a familiar voice behind him. Tommy turned to see Admiral Sarah Chen, his new commanding officer. The promotion had been a surprise. Tommy had expected trouble for disobeying orders and making first contact with an alien species without permission. Instead, Earth Command had made him a hero. "How is Cosmic doing?" Admiral Chen asked. "See for yourself," Tommy replied, pointing toward the station's central garden area. Through the transparent dome, they could see Cosmic playing with a group of human children. The small alien had recovered from his ordeal, though his fur now had permanent silver streaks that marked him as a warrior among his people. He was teaching the children how to make his wind chime sounds, and their laughter echoed through the garden. "The medical report says he will never be as strong as he was before the battle," Admiral Chen observed. "Maybe not," Tommy agreed. "But he is happy, and he has started something bigger than any of us imagined." It was true. Word of the Human-Lumari alliance had spread across the galaxy. Other alien species, many of them refugees from Corvan aggression, had begun making contact with both civilizations. The galaxy was full of peoples who had been hiding from the Corvan Empire, waiting for someone strong enough to stand against them. "Speaking of bigger things," Admiral Chen continued, "Earth Command wants to know if you are ready for your next assignment." "Let me guess," Tommy said with a grin. "Another perfectly safe mission with no possible complications." "Actually, yes. We are sending you to establish contact with a species called the Vorthak. They have technology that could help us build better defenses against the Corvans." "What makes this mission safe?" Tommy asked suspiciously. "The Vorthak are plant-based life forms, completely peaceful. They communicate through chemical signals and spend most of their time photosynthesizing. What could possibly go wrong?" Tommy laughed. "Famous last words. But yes, I will take the mission, on one condition." "Which is?" "Cosmic comes with us. The Iron Guardian is his home now, and we work better as a team." Admiral Chen nodded. "Already approved. Your entire original crew has volunteered for the mission. Even Dr. Park, despite her complaints about dangerous adventures. As if summoned by her name, Minji Park appeared at the entrance to the observation dome. "Tommy, you need to see this," she said excitedly. They followed her to the station's main communication center, where Huna was working at a massive array of screens and sensors. The communication officer looked up as they entered, her face glowing with excitement. "We have been receiving signals from across the galaxy," Huna announced. "Dozens of alien species are asking to meet with us. They all heard about what happened with the Corvan fleet." "How many species?" Admiral Chen asked. 43 so far, and more every day. They want to form some kind of alliance against the Corvan Empire." Tommy felt a familiar excitement building in his chest. The same feeling he had when they first found Cosmic on that distant asteroid. An alliance of free peoples, united against tyranny. "I like it." "There is more," Huna continued. "The Lumari Council has been sharing their technology with us. Look at this." She activated a holographic display that showed the Iron Guardian in its new configuration. The massive robot looked similar to its original design, but now it was enhanced with Lumari biotechnology. Its armor was a living metal that could repair itself. Its weapons were psychically guided for perfect accuracy. Most importantly, it had a permanent neural interface that allowed Cosmic to bond with it completely. "The Guardian is now classified as a hybrid vessel," Minji explained. "Part machine, part living organism. Cosmic is not just its operator anymore, he is part of it." And we are building more, Donghyun added, entering the communication center, with data tablets in his hands. The shipyards at New Haven are producing 12 new Guardian-class vessels. Each one will be partnered with a young Lumari volunteer. Volunteers? Tommy asked, surprised. Cosmic has become something of a legend among his people, Elder Sonara said, appearing on the main communication screen. Many young Lumari want to follow his example and bond with human technology. They call themselves the Bridge Builders. Tommy looked around at his friends and colleagues. Seojin was studying the new ship designs with obvious excitement. Young-ho was reviewing tactical reports from across the galaxy. Even Admiral Chen was smiling as she read about the expanding alliance. Perfect, Tommy said, using his favorite word. Perfect plan, no risks, and this time I actually mean it. You said that the last time, Minji pointed out with a laugh. Yes, but this time we have experience. We know how to handle the impossible. A soft wind chime sound came from the garden area, and they all turned to see Cosmic approaching with the human children following behind him. The small alien's fur was glowing with happiness, and his large eyes sparkled with intelligence and friendship. Tommy, Cosmic said in his musical voice, the children want to know if they can visit the Iron Guardian. Of course they can, Tommy replied. It is their future we are building after all. As the group moved toward the docking bay where the Iron Guardian waited, Tommy reflected on how much had changed since that day they found a small alien in a crystal pod. They had set out to mine asteroids and ended up changing the course of galactic history. The Iron Guardian stood in its berth, like a metal mountain, but it was no longer just a machine. It was alive in ways that human science was still trying to understand. Its eyes glowed with the same starlight intelligence as Cosmic's, and it moved with organic grace that defied its massive size. Ready for another adventure? Tommy asked, Cosmic as they approached the robot. Always ready, Cosmic replied, his fur shifting to bright gold. With friends, anything is possible. The children gasped in wonder as the Iron Guardian knelt down to their level, its massive head tilting to look at them with gentle curiosity. This was the future Tommy had dreamed of. Humans and aliens working together, exploring the galaxy as partners rather than conquerors. Admiral, Tommy said to Chen, about that Vorthak mission. When do we leave? Tomorrow, if you are ready. The Vorthak homeworld is 3 weeks away, and we want to establish contact before the Corvins learn about them. Tommy looked at his crew, his alien friend, and the massive robot that had become their home. Everything had started with a joke about a perfect plan with no risks. Now they were part of something bigger than any of them had imagined. We are ready, he announced. The Iron Guardian and its crew are ready for anything the galaxy wants to throw at us. Cosmic's wind chime laughter filled the docking bay, joined by the excited voices of human children who would grow up in a universe where different species worked together instead of fighting each other. As they prepared for their next mission, Tommy allowed himself one more moment to appreciate the impossible chain of events that had led them here. A routine mining job, a small alien in distress, a terrible plan that somehow worked perfectly. Perfect plan, no risks, he said to himself with a smile. And for once, I might actually be right. The Iron Guardian stood up to its full height, its biomechanical systems humming with life and purpose. Somewhere among the stars, new adventures waited for the crew that had learned to turn impossible situations into perfect victories. And in the heart of the massive robot, a small alien kitten who had saved the galaxy purred contentedly, knowing that he was exactly where he belonged, among friends who would never give up on each other no matter how impossible the odds might seem. The future was bright, full of hope, and absolutely perfect. No risks required.